everybody. Atomic Midnight, episode 3. You know, we're getting used to the whole talking back and forth and just, you know, running it.
What we got? What kind of crazy topics you
I've
got?
been watching. I've been watching a lot of paranormal investigation videos that have been pretty interesting.
Prepping it up.
And I've been doing both. I've been watching debunking videos, and I've been watching ghosts. You know, some ghost hunt, paranormal, like, you know, paranormal hunting or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm excited to get to that point because it's a test to myself, obviously.
Yeah.
And just to see what it's gonna feel like actually being at a place and seeing what we feel and what we see and you know.
Because every investigator is like, you look at them, everyone's different too. So it's like, and I feel like the intention that we set, I feel like makes a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen YouTubers that, you know, obviously for entertainment purposes, they're doing whatever it is. But I've also talked to people that I know that have big channels that are, they don't BS.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like,
it's like all shit. Like, I don't want to fake nothing.
Yeah. I don't want to fake anything.
You know
I want it
what I
to
mean?
be as genuine as possible. I want to go see, feel, whatever it is, and just go from there. So yeah, a document came across my desk. No, I'm just kidding. So shout out to my niece. She sent me some pretty interesting topics. And one of them is about some stuff that we've actually talked about. Let me pause this. So it's about Project Sunstreak. Have you heard of that one?
No, sir.
Dude. So she sent me the actual document. It's a declassified document from the CIA.
Yeah.
And it's about remote viewing. But the person that was remote viewing was looking for the Ark of the Covenant.
Interesting.
And it's wild. This is a crazy one.
That one is wild.
Yeah, so let me pull this up. Let me pull up my history here. So the remote viewer was codenamed 032.
Interesting.
And using coordinate remote viewing techniques to physically observe a target unknown to them. So it was the viewer reports impressions of geometric structures, including domes and cavernous interiors with technological or ancient energy signatures. So pretty much it was somewhere in the Middle East that they had found an object that they couldn't really see, but it was an object inside of an object. And the object had scriptures on it. It had scriptures. It had, what else did it have? It had a bunch of like designs.
It was like Hebrew scriptures, or like what was this?
No, it was Arabic.
Oh,
yeah. And what the hell? There was something else that I had seen.
Like the language that Jesus spoke.
Yeah. And there was fuck. Might have to cut that out. I'm trying not to curse that much. But yeah, no, there was it had like Arabic designs on it. It had like a bird. I was watching a video of it on it before you came over. But it was very interesting. You know, so
would the remote viewer draw it out?
Yeah, they drew it out. It's a whole document that the CIA had that they had just released. Let me see if I can show it to. Let me turn this brightness up so you can see. You're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
I'll throw it up on the screen. I'll search it.
Yeah. Look it up and.
So they can get a view of it.
Yeah, it's so. She sent me two. She sent me one about the. Look at this. It's crazy.
And this is like the drawings from the remote viewer?
Yeah. So pretty much they describe what the remote viewer was looking at. And then it refers to the pages in the document where you can go see what the drawings look like. And that's straight from the CIA website.
I see that.
Yeah. That's a full-on declassified document.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then they would like, oh wow, yeah, like definitely like some, and like there's like mummies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So they described the tomb or a tomb of where the object could be, and they described the structure, what it looked like, but it was an object inside of an object. It was like a wet, damp place, almost like a cave almost, but it was underneath like a city or something that I was watching.
But it's in the Middle East.
In the Middle
obviously,
East.
Right?
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, dude.
Yeah,
it's like one of like a wheel.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like we should definitely go in depth one day into that.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy subject.
Because that's a crazy one.
That is such an interesting idea to get a remote viewer to look at the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And try to find it. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Definitely a wild one.
Yeah, like what the hell is that?
Yeah, I was watching the video of it earlier because I was like, what the hell are we going to talk about? And I'm just like...
And it was in 2008?
Yeah.
Or 2000?
2000.
My fault. Yeah, wow, dude. That remote viewing stuff goes deep, man.
It's very deep. And the thing is, I found a video that goes really in depth with it. We can probably react to it at another time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. That type of stuff right there.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And then she sends me over.
Yeah, shout out Niece, bro. She's really hooking it up.
Yeah. She liked our episode. She loved our episodes.
Oh, good.
She's listened to them, and she's like, dude, all the stuff that you guys are talking about is just things that aren't commonly talked about. Like she does the same thing as us. She watches videos, podcasts, listens to podcasts and things like that. And everybody just talks about the same things over and over.
Yeah.
And she's like, I like that you guys are actually like talking about things that aren't commonly mentioned.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then this is the other one. This is another CIA declassified document.
Interesting.
So it talks about the 13 families that run the entire world.
And this is CIA. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you can see you can see their last names. I don't even want to say their last names.
Nope. Don't say anything. But yeah, it shows.
You saw I bleeped out the other one though. Yeah. Saying that other family. I'm like, dude.
But yeah, it shows their last names and it shows a little bit of what they do.
There's one that's like a wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That one's a famous last name.
The very famous last name. So.
Wow. My last name's on here, imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one I feel is a little iffy, but it's still pretty cool that there's documents being released about things that we all question and we've questioned lately, you know?
Yeah, no, that is. Because it has like, oh wow, dude. Like satanic royalty. Everything.
You know, rituals, ritualistic things.
Because those rituals, dude, they have some like witchcraft and like the occult.
It's all there, man.
There's a reason like the church would like eliminate those people immediately.
Of course,
you know, like the occult. You know, you ever see how like all of like the 12 disciples of Jesus, they were all killed. You know how like they were all like there was one I can't remember. I can't remember which.
And it was all like ritualistic.
Dude,
like right,
there was one where they were like, bro, I can't remember which one it was right off the top of my head, but it's so funny. There's one that was like, we're gonna crucify you. He's like, it'd be an honor to die like Jesus. Said, all right, motherfucker, we're gonna crucify you upside down.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, no,
they crucified him upside down.
Yeah, I've watched a couple videos this past week on, you know, things like remote viewing.
Yeah,
I watched a bunch of stuff on occult stuff.
Yeah, dude, the occult stuff is interesting.
Yeah, and it's very, like I said, since we're sensitive to things like this, it's definitely things that have, you know, will definitely mess with your head a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, definitely.
And it's so interesting. And I know we say that word a lot, but it is. It's crazy how people aren't openly discussing these things.
All right. It's like they're too preoccupied with things. It's very strange because like that to me, just that document alone from like the whole bloodline of everything. That one is wild. Yeah.
So this video I was watching was about like things that we use to like weaponize, and there was a building, I forgot where it was, somewhere. It wasn't a foreign country. It was in a foreign country, but it was a U.S. embassy, and they were testing. Something was going on in the building where people were getting sick, and it was just weird. And they dropped a machine that tested, like almost like the air and sound waves, and they found that they were pointing microwaves, like microwave type beams towards the building, and it was messing everybody up.
Like what? Who was doing it? Did they say?
They didn't. I was watching the video right before you came. I have to finish watching it, but it's crazy that they were using those types of frequencies and waves to mess with people.
It is
almost like a.
That's like, not. You know how they do it in like riot control? They'll use it for like that. Like certain sound waves.
Yeah. It's not biological warfare. What is it? It's
That's like what do you call that? That's like technological warfare.
Technological warfare. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, man. So
sound waves are crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was so it was it was a Secret Service initiatives to create the voice of God microwave weapons. Capable of implanting thoughts directly into the minds of their targets. That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's crazy that all these documents are coming out little by little.
Yeah, because that type of technology is so wild. Are there certain frequencies that can counter it? There has to be, right?
Yeah, there has to be.
Like mantras, maybe. I don't know, dude.
It could be a bunch of things, man. You know, so, but yeah, the whole the families thing about the ones that run the world too. Yeah, that's. I don't want to mention any names, but
no. But like I said, there's ones on there that are like, especially that one at the beginning is super prominent.
Yeah, it's a little. It's weird. It's a little weird, man. But, yeah, no, I've been watching videos on occult stuff and how they were using it and how they made I watched like the top 5 movies that they made that were as close as to like the real thing of rituals and things like that. And man, Hollywood is fucking scary,
bro. Once you it really is, because once you get in, apparently they have like a whole, because that type of money and power, they only want certain people to have, and you have to be a part of the crew.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of these people that were like prominently famous, and then they fade away because they're like, I don't want to be a part of that ritual shit.
Yeah, or there's people that just lose their minds. Like,
that too.
There's celebrities,
Dude,
Britney Spears and all those people that fucking lost it.
Anybody who is predominantly famous in the entertainment industry is in fucking outer space, bro. They're all Looney Tunes.
They're out of it,
dude.
Like I couldn't imagine sitting in a room with one of them and having like an actual conversation where it's just us two, no phones, no cameras.
Yeah,
and you can just tell that some of these people are just whacked the fuck out.
They are. They don't know how to. There's something that type of reality does to you, dude. It's insane.
It would be another cool topic.
What's that?
And this is, I know we keep naming off a lot and there's a lot to talk about.
Because we're going to go back and look at these and then make them.
Exactly, yeah. Right now, these are just the idea episodes where we're just going to like look back and be like, oh shit, this is what we talked about in this one. We should definitely go back.
Yeah. Work with this, please.
It's live brainstorming where everybody out there's actually just seeing what the hell we're coming up with. Bob Dylan. And like the whole, selling your soul.
Which is interesting.
Very interesting. There's a documentary. Let me see if I can find it on Netflix. Maybe you can put it up for them also. I gotta see what the hell it's called.
Because he talks about like Bob Dylan's one that does talk about that. And like you said, you were telling me about that one blues player.
Yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, dude. And I play the blues, so it's really creepy. Exactly. So I don't like watching that kind of stuff.
Yes, I'm trying to find.
Don't meet me in a dark corner somewhere.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, it's wild.
See.
Very wild.
I can't type, bro.
No, take your time.
Yeah, it's called Devil at the Crossroads, and it is about the legend of blues musician Robert Johnson meeting the devil at the crossroads and selling his soul for guitar mastery.
Which is crazy.
It's a damn good documentary, and what's crazy is that they tell his story and about how he used to go play all these little bars, and back then, just from the describing it, is music, especially the blues back then, was really it was almost like a spiritual thing in the community back then.
Right.
And he used to go play all these little bars, and he sucked. He was the worst. Everybody would be like, oh, boo. Like, he's not allowed to play here ever again.
Yeah.
And then one night he goes to the crossroads, and there's a guy standing there with a suitcase, offers him a deal. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he comes back and he's just insane at guitar. and he goes back and he replays all these little bars, and everybody's like, what the hell happened to you overnight? You know? And then obviously the whole entire story. And it's a true story, but who knows, what really happened for him to come back and be
it is weird.
A master.
Because like I said, when you play, you do channel some like weird energy, dude, and I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just, it's weird. I don't really, it's creepy almost at that point, you know what I mean? Because when you get good at something, bro, you don't really feel like it's you anymore. So it's like, it's super creepy.
Yeah, I mean, you can see when people are like super into it, like you see Santana play guitar, or Jimi Hendrix, and
sometimes when I play, dude, I'll close my eyes, right, and I'll start seeing like psychedelic patterns.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's like they're all high on drugs,
exactly.
Bro. It's like you literally start tripping. I don't know if it's this. I don't know. Like I said, it goes back to the sound frequencies or something, but like it makes you like you see like Jimi Hendrix was one dude. Like he was like one of the most mystical people of all time.
Yeah.
And like there was an interview with him and Stevie Ray Vaughan talking about him, and it was like there's like a whole conspiracy with Jimi Hendrix with like his management was the mob. Had mob ties. And the guy Jimmy started knowing way too much, and that's like what Stevie Ray Vaughan talks about. He's like Jimmy just knew too much. That's why he's dead. Yeah, you know what I mean. The same thing with like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan died in a plane crash. Yeah, bro. It's like it's all like. It's like once you start getting good and like starting resisting their dark energy, and you want to do it for light, it seems like they start like getting crazy.
Yeah, we've seen it. Bob Marley was a good example too.
Oh my God, dude, another one.
There's a whole bunch of conspiracies with like the CIA and stuff with him. They
essentially, like I said, gave him cancer through certain sound waves. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like and it goes against his Rastafarian religion to, like I said, it's the will of God at that point. So you're not going to do it because he had toe cancer. Yeah, and that could have easily been cured. But it's just against his religious ideology.
To even get any type of
to get any help from it.
Yeah, no. So it's interesting that musicians at that high level. Yeah, I can only imagine how much dopamine their brain releases to feel like I said. You can watch a video of Santana playing or Jimi Hendrix playing or any like top tier guitarist, and you can see them like, and people are like, why the fuck is he making that weird face? And it's because you wouldn't begin to understand what they're feeling.
It's interesting
playing an instrument like that and the sound that they're making. It's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. So
it gets back to that King Solomon shit, dude.
Yeah, man. It goes back to frequencies and brain, how crazy the mind is. Yeah. So
that's what I always wonder. I'm always like, are these sound waves driving me crazy?
It could be, man. There's a bunch of stuff there's a lot of things we don't know about.
Sound of an electric guitar for like 4 hours, bro, kind of makes you feel wild after a while.
Exactly. Exactly, man.
There's something with that, man. There really is. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something weird with it.
Yeah, dude.
It's the vibrations too, because like when you're holding the instrument, you feel the vibrations. It's a different vibration that you feel when you're just watching it. So like, because you're feeling the vibrations and also playing the vibrations. So like your whole body is a part of the vibration at that point. Kind of like when you go to like a spot and you hear like you feel the subs. You know what I mean? You feel that low bass, and it's actually a part of your body, bro. It's some weird shit, dude. I don't know the science behind it.
Yeah, man. Another crazy thing that I've been trying to pretty much read for the past year, and I haven't gotten to it. Coast was gonna let me borrow a book on it. The Book of Enoch.
Yes, that will in that document reminded me of that. Yeah, and that one.
It's crazy because that's what popped into my head also.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Because the Enoch was one that like they casted that whole book out of the Bible, and that one has all kinds of psychedelic
Nephilims and
dude. Giants and like certain like aliens and stuff like that. Yep.
It's an interesting one.
It's like the things that, I mean, I don't have anything against the like Christian church, but a lot of it back in the day was a lot of like for control. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you started opening people's minds, that's when it gets creepy. They don't want you to open people's minds, which is weird. Yeah,
they don't.
I don't know who they is, but
yeah, exactly.
Don't hurt me, please.
Whoever it is. Disclaimer: we're happy with our lives. Here. We're trying to just
get a podcast off the ground.
Talk about get a podcast off the ground. Talk about people. But yeah, no, a lot of the stuff in there and about it's crazy because once again, interesting is how some of these like big rock formations in like the Grand Canyon and all of those deserts are supposedly trees and stuff from, you know.
Do you realize, do you know there's a forbidden zone in the Grand Canyon?
That you can't go to.
Where they won't let you go. There's black helicopters that circle around it. I was watching a documentary where they'll start, they get there, some people, the only way you can get there is by the river, right? And it only has that, the water only rises certain times a year.
Yeah, for you to be able to actually travel it.
And there's only one person that was able to get video evidence of it. I got to find it out, dude. But they were literally those things. I can't remember what. I don't want to say wrong names, but there's an explorer. He's a pretty predominant name, but I can't remember his name. If I said it, everybody know who he is. But it was back in like, I don't even know the year, but he had like, he went there, found that, and was like, all right, we're going to get an expedition going for this. Because, dude, they said they found like Egyptian writing in the Grand Canyon. There's all kinds of Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. It's just, it's crazy how it's all, because, you know, like it goes back to like Pangea when everything was connected. You know what I mean? Yeah. The Grand Canyon is a weird one. A lot of those formations are like Egyptian pyramids and, like you said, old trees and like fossilized trees.
Fossilized trees. They've cut. I think it's like huge boulders open, and it's like instead of it being rock, it's almost like dried. Like the inside of a tree cut open where you can see like all those patterns and things like that. Yeah, very very cool stuff.
Because like growing up in Georgia, my granddad had 13 acres of land, and you could go around and you can see fossilized trees. So like the trees turn to rock.
It almost looks like rock.
It feels like rock. It's heavy as rock, but it's fossilized wood, bro.
Yeah, it's things that scientists these days need to definitely get on, bro. Either that or they already know, and they're not going to tell us shit about it. So.
Yeah, that's really what it is too.
But yeah, that's super cool too.
Knowledge is power, so they really try to limit who knows the knowledge.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a crazy topic. We'll get into that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things. There was a guy. I want to talk about that. And what else is happening soon? Isn't the Antarctic Treaty ending soon? It might have ended already.
That's a weird one too, man.
That's a crazy one because only certain you have to sign, you have to like get permission,
dude. And it's like North Korea. They only send you in certain spots. Like you can't get, like you have to have a guide. You can't go alone. They make sure everyone's watching. Like don't look over here, look over there, type shit.
Exactly. Here, let me see it because I forgot what was. I think we were talking about it at work one day. Ending and. Okay, so it's ending in 2048. So we got some time.
A little bit of time going on.
But imagine when that thing ends, you know?
Because Antarctica apparently holds all kinds of crazy secrets, man.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
There's a guy. He was a pilot, Richard Byrd, and he had flown over the wall. I guess it was like in 1929. They had video of it. But he said that when he flew over the wall, he saw green, like land, and he saw people, like giants and shit. Like weird. So it was weird shit. So, and then I don't know what the hell happened to him, you know?
Oh, yeah. He said, yeah, talk about, dude, keep that up, brother. We'll fucking...
Exactly. But yeah, no, we definitely want to find some... things about that.
Yeah, Antarctica is a strange. That's a deep dive.
That's a very deep dive, and deep diving into things like that, it's kind of hard to find things that are true, only because it's things that people don't really want to talk about. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we can, at least ride the thin line. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like when you get into a lot of this stuff, like it's mixed in with a lot of mythological crazy things that aren't true, but then there's like small things of that are true. So it's it's a rabbit hole.
It's crazy. And who knows what the hell's under there, dude.
Oh my God.
Every time I hear things like back in the day when I was younger, it was like, oh, the ice shelves are melting. And then I'm just like, fuck, man, we're gonna die, bro. Right. It's like 2012. I had so much anxiety all of 2011. Right. Only because I'm like, dude, the world's gonna end in December, and what the fuck is gonna happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, same. I know exactly what you mean.
I had the worst anxiety that whole year.
No, it's interesting because, like I said, 2012 was the end but it was the end of something.
Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't the calendar? Wasn't it supposed to be 2025?
2025 is another weird one,
isn't it?
Yeah, especially this particular date of 2025 is a weird one because it's 6, 3, and 2025. So it's 369, and like those three numbers are extremely significant in like manifestation and like reality shift, and like that goes back to Nikola Tesla. He was extremely interested in the numbers 3, 6, and 9, and that's what the date is today, which is interesting. But it's like that through like astrology and everything, like when those numbers have really really strong power to them. Because it's all numbers. Like I said, it goes back to sacred numerology, you know? Yeah.
What was the calendar? It wasn't the Mayan calendar. It was a different calendar.
Which one was it? I'm too ignorant. I don't know.
I can't think of the fucking name, bro. I can't think of the name.
But it wasn't just the Mayan calendar. It was... Fuck, man. We suck today.
I know, right?
What was the name of this? Not the Mayan calendar, man.
What was it? It was like...
I'm trying to find it.
Go for it. We'll figure it out, guys. Look, hold the phone.
The thing is, it's like right there, and it's like right there, and I can't fucking see it, dude.
No worries. We'll find it. We're gonna find it.
The Ethiopian calendar. Fuck. Okay. I'm about to lose my fucking brain, dude.
It's late. We've been working.
God.
Listen.
I know.
Imagine this podcast at 8 a.m. fresh.
Hell no, dude.
We'd be on it,
I'd
bro.
be sitting there like, what the fuck? Yeah, because I think the Mayan calendar ended in 2012.
Yeah,
and then the Ethiopian calendar ends in a different. It's behind 7 years.
That's what it was. So
7 years from 2012, which would be whatever the hell that is. Math.
Yeah.
But
so over there, they're 7 years behind us. Yeah.
That's what a lot of like the Jehovah's talk about. Like they have like a whole they have a whole different calendar than like what normal people we go on. Yeah. Because like all of our stuff is like based on like the Romans. You know what I mean? It's like all based on like their type of calendar. Theirs predates that. I'm pretty sure.
So like it's 2017 over there. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It's very weird. But yeah, what they were saying is instead of the Mayan calendar being 2012, it's supposed to be some other year that they had on their calendar of the real date of when we're supposed to fucking, poof, It
is interesting.
It really is. It really is, dude. I'm trying to think of
like I said, to the like atomic clock, you know what I mean? It's like
man.
Right now the atomic clock is the closest it's ever been to midnight in like the history of mankind, which is interesting.
Let's see, doomsday clock.
That
let's see where it's at, man.
I think it's like
90 seconds to midnight.
Yeah.
And it says it's largely, but not exclusively, due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's fucking crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because, I mean, they were going through it the other day, and supposedly they had almost blown up a nuclear sub or something.
Interesting.
Could you imagine?
That? Yeah.
It's not good, man.
No.
It's not good. It's definitely not good.
Dude, that stuff goes, like I said, when you start messing with stuff on the atomic level, like that shit, it goes deep with that.
Yeah.
Like you said, like the ones that they dropped in Japan, like it has like it just leaves nothing but their shadows, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like they just have a bunch of shadows around. So like, what the hell's going on there?
the a really really big one that took over my life back in like 2022 was the whole CERN 2012 theory, which is pretty crazy. So it's said that back in 2012 CERN destroyed the world and put us in a whole different timeline. And it was when we talked about this on the first episode. It's definitely another thing that I wanted to go in depth with in the future, because it's something that I feel you would find very, very interesting, and it's deep. It's a deep one. So obviously over there, it's in Geneva, and they have a whole thing underground where they test particles. They make them collide to try to create the God particle. And supposedly back in 2012, they did that, destroyed everything, but it was instant. So they put us all in a different timeline. And that's where like a lot of the glitches in the Matrix come from. And
you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So yeah. So glitches in the Matrix, and holy shit. So
perfect timing.
Yeah.
Divine timing.
Exactly. That's probably the AC turning on. That's what I'm just gonna say. Although lately, out of the corner of my eye, I have been seeing shit here. You know?
Yeah.
But like we've talked about before and talked about energies, it isn't anything bad.
Yeah.
You know? Because you can feel when there's something bad around you.
And like I said, embrace it with love, like we talked about.
That's it, dude.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't, like, normally, when you feel weird energies like that, it can be a thing where you're sort of like, oh, like you sort of tense up. But I don't feel that.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you know. But I've seen things out of like, and the thing is I'll double check and I'll make sure, and I'll be like, let me see, because obviously I have my glasses, so I can see this corner of my glasses is sort of like, it won't create a blur, but I can definitely distinguish if I see something as opposed to it being the corner right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've seen a couple things here already. I would say maybe like 2 or 3 things. Like yesterday I went to the bathroom. And I went to go wash my hands, and I literally saw, dude, I was standing there normal, bro. Just I wasn't even moving. I was just washing my hands, and I can see something just went right past me, and it was right here. It was right in that bathroom, and it came across this way.
Interesting.
You know? But like I said, it isn't anything bad. I don't feel any bad energy here.
Yeah, me either. I don't feel bad energy in here.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
But I you know, I've seen a couple things here and there.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because like, how long have you been here?
It's been about a month.
Yeah.
It
is interesting.
A little bit over a month. And it's weird because when we first moved in, I was like, you know, it's an older lady that lived here. They didn't tell us if her husband passed away here or not.
Yeah.
And
did you ask him?
Frankly, no.
I think legally you have to.
Yeah, you would have to tell. But yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I don't really want to know.
Yeah.
But if it's that, then I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't feel.
We come with love.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like I said, I've been in places where the energy is very shitty.
Yeah.
And even talking to people in general is very, very crappy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel that here at all.
It's like when I moved into apartments are weird, man. Because like when I moved into the last apartment I lived in,
there's a lot of energies around,
dude. All kinds of, and like I said, the building was like it's not that old, but like from the 70s, you know, old enough, you know what I mean, for some weird dark stuff to happen in them.
Of course.
And when I first moved in there, dude, I felt like extremely anxious.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like I didn't want to be there. Like I knew, like I just didn't want to be there. But of course, when you get an apartment, they just give you a random unit. The one that you tour is not the one that you get
exactly.
put in.
Yeah. This is what it looks like. Here's the fucking death apartment.
Here's the one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that apartment, dude, held some very, very strange energy. But at that point in time in my life, I was too ignorant to that. You know what I mean? It was about 2 years ago. But now I know if I went back, dude, like I said, a lot of negative stuff happened between me and like my ex there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, there's certain entities that'll like get in.
They feed off of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or cause it.
Yeah.
Which is
they
even
cause
more
it, or they feed off a very negative
negative energy. So I mean, man,
it is interesting.
It is.
It's just what would make you feel like that. Like I instantly, when I was there, it's like I knew like I didn't want to be there really.
Yeah. You get sleep paralysis there or no?
What is it?
Did you get any sleep paralysis or anything weird happen there?
No, not really. No.
I've only had, knock on wood, please, because
that's why I sleep on my side.
Last time we talked about this kind of shit, the first episode, I had weird ass dreams that night. But I've only had sleep paralysis maybe twice in my entire life.
Yeah.
That I can remember.
Yeah.
The first time I had just gotten home from school, it was one of those gloomy afternoons where, like, you know, you get home, it's 3:00 and it's about to pour outside.
Yeah.
So I remember knocking out in my bed. I forgot what movie I had on, like Texas Chainsaw or some shit. That wasn't what caused it. But so I'm sleeping and I wake up and my door to the room swings open and there's like a black shadow there, dude, and I can't move. You ever been on the Gravitron?
Not really. No.
So it's an old ride, back in like the 80s, 90s, maybe even 70s. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's a spaceship and you go in and it spins around, and with it spinning, it causes...
I've been on Mission Space, so it's kind of like G's.
It's like that. Yeah. So you can't really... You're trying to lift your arm and you can't do it. So I open up my eyes and I look in the corner and the door swings open. I think it's my brother. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, close my door. Like, I'm fucking sleeping.
Yeah.
But I'm also at the same time, the remote control is next to me on the left and I'm trying to lift my hand and I can't. I'm fucking talking about every single part of me trying to get to that remote. And I just remember like closing my eyes, but it was instantly like open, close, open. And I like fucking got up and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Walked over to the bathroom and I washed my face and I was freaked out. I felt like all the little tingly pins and needles.
Yeah.
And I just remember laying back in the bed and going back to sleep and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. I've had an experience at like the house that I'm at now, like where you're like
before you created like your temple in your room, or was it in the middle?
I would say it was before, but okay. I don't sleep in my room. My room is like I sleep in another guest room over there because like my room just doesn't have enough. Like I just have a bunch of like production shit. All my stuff shit everywhere. Yeah. So I don't have a bed in there. I just have a couch. Yeah. But like the other room is normally where I sleep. But that one time I was sleeping, right. And then I had I don't know even what you would call this. Like I had the feeling to where like I got up, walked out of my bed, and was walking towards the door, and then now I snapped back into my body. Which is interesting. Yeah. But it's like I felt like it was like a dream of me waking up and walking. But then right when I woke up, and I was like, it was like that
could have been you. To the point where you were relaxed and you were probably going to astral project.
That's kind of like that's kind of like essentially what it was, because it was like I felt like I was in my body, which was weird. I didn't feel like I was out of body. Yeah. But like when I woke up, I was still laying down. Yeah,
that's almost like I could say that falls into the theory of astral projection,
which is interesting.
Yeah, my stepmom. See, now we're going.
Yeah, now we're ready. We're warmed up.
It took a little bit. We're like, what the hell are we going to talk about? But yeah, no, my stepmom, when I was younger, she would tell us stories. Her and her sisters were able to astral project.
Yeah.
So when they were young and even older in Colombia, like they would, freak me the hell out because they would tell me stories of them leaving their bodies and going and like traveling and visiting people. And like when their mom passed away, it was weird. She had a video of her mom's funeral and it was in Colombia, and they're from a place called Medellin.
Yeah.
So it was huge. Like there was a lot of people there and you could see people like, carrying the casket and all that stuff. Yeah. And it was just like a huge celebration. But there in the video there was man, I forgot. She pointed something out in the video that nobody knew who that person was. It was a person dressed all in white. That nobody knew who they were. They're like in the background of the video, dude. And I didn't know that much back then, but I as a kid, I was freaked out because I just remember thinking about like who the hell was it,
Yeah.
And she would tell us stories about her seeing the devil, you know, a guy, you know, like her being in a field, like just walking with her, you know, friends, and a guy pulling up on a black horse wearing all black, like crazy shit, you know, people's version of
right
whatever it is.
Exactly. So that's what it's like. I said, it's kind of like the ideology of it. Like it comes to you in different forms, which is depending on your predisposed ideologies.
That's also a very deep. That's actually a pretty cool depiction of people's evils, you know, in Town Mysteries. You know, you know how they made it. You know? And they got the new TV show coming out. It's going to go deeper and explain more. So, because
that, like, I forgot what that concept is, but that's what, like, Stephen King wrote that about, was that type of thing that is it can be a beautiful woman. It can be...
It can be anything. Evils come in every form.
Oh, my God. That's what's interesting.
Yeah. It's, I mean, ultimately, you know, the devil and, you know, Lucifer or whatever. It can come in many forms.
The dark energy, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Because, like, in the Christian Bible, like, he was, like, casted out of hell, which is kind of an interesting concept, you know? It's like, I feel like the dark and the light are just playing chess with each other, and we are, like, we're, like, what they're playing for.
Yeah. I mean, I've read it, too. I mean, he was, like, a beautiful angel, muscular, like, you know, you know, like, ready to go to war whenever, and then he fucked up, you know. The
temptations are just it's weird.
It's crazy, man. It's very, very. We say this shit a lot, but it's interesting, you know, because we want to know more.
Yeah,
you know,
that type of stuff is so weird.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
But yeah, the whole astral projecting thing, the sleep paralysis thing. It's one of the worst feelings that I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
And scary.
I've had sleep paralysis like when I was a kid, but like it doesn't and it was like on the couch in my living room, and my dad's had it a bunch. But like it doesn't really, like, for me, by the grace of God, it doesn't really last that long for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to feel it come on, and I'm like able to like get up and shake it off. Oh my God, dude, I felt it coming on.
Yeah, like I've seen a couple documentaries. There was a cool one on Netflix of people. Man, some of these people's experiences.
It's like, what are they doing in their forever. What are they doing in their life though? Is there like something like that shit's coming to you because you're doing some shit? It has to be.
It's something. It's like, something.
What's going on to like? I wonder if there's like a common thing in their life, because like I said, it's like a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. It's like a and like I said, like most of those people are either like high stressed or like high anxious or like something weird.
Yeah, and it goes back to evil entities feeding off of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but that would be a very cool topic also.
Fear frequency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that and, man, I'm going to touch on some crazy. So there was an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It's the first episode when the series came back. And it was a guy that disappeared. I'm going to be very short about it because I watched it. I've seen it a bunch of times. I've even watched a couple of podcasts about it. Mm-hmm. But he like disappeared, and it was so mysterious. Like he had fallen off of the top of a side of the building, but where they have like events and shit like that. Mm. And it comes down to they copied like the movie The Game from back in the day, where like the guy like had fallen off and he was like part of like this whole corporate thing.
Yeah.
And it came down to like it being a ritual and like being like a secret society type thing within the job place.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because they found, when they started doing the investigation into his murder, they found a hard drive that he had stuck to the back of his computer, and on the hard drive is like a whole series of like ciphers that nobody can they can't figure it out.
It's like he was doing some weird shit.
Yeah.
So weird.
Definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it, and then it's a short hour-long episode. It's super interesting and it's weird, conspiracy-ish type thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. And then you still got to watch Hereditary in the future.
I know.
Because that's a crazy one. But I definitely watch it in the daylight.
I did a bunch of research on it when I was editing the other podcast, and like, yeah, that one's a creepy one. I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's very strange.
That's a deep movie.
Like I said, even the sounds they play in the trailer,
everything,
dude, the frequencies are so annoying.
And the soundtrack itself, like the people that composed it, is just, they did a very good job.
I wonder who are they? Are they a bunch of Satanists or something that did the music?
The director's name is Ari Aster, something like that, and I think he did Midsummer too, which Midsummer is another cult.
Yeah.
Very culty. That movie's fucked also, bro. That's another one.
What?
That's one that I've only watched once, because there was a couple scenes in that movie that really make you feel uncomfortable.
Have you seen Sinister?
I love Sinister.
That's a
great movie.
That's another one that's like kind of like interesting. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like that era of movies there were really, really cool. Like Sinister to me is another damn good horror movie.
Yeah.
Not on the level of Hereditary, because Hereditary is just, I've watched a lot of horror movies, and I've watched the best horror movies of all time, like Suspiria, and Rosemary's Baby, The Shining, all the movies that people hold on a high pedestal of like them being the greatest. But to me, Hereditary is
like the best.
That's got to be the
way that it can just capture that. That's
got to be the craziest horror movie that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that's how deep it is, But yeah, Midsummer is another very culty, bad occult movie, rituals, and that movie will make you feel weird.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I know, the trailer alone made me feel weird.
Yeah. If you watch the entire thing, you're definitely gonna be like, "Fuck, man!" Like I didn't like that. I didn't like that one.
I just get to sit alone and think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Also, please. Get those notes from your dad that he has, man. I'm very interested.
Yeah.
I feel like the first episode that we really dive into topics and reactions, I want to do it on that. I feel like he might have some crazy shit to talk about, or even say, or things that he's jotted down to even show you.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah. Because, man, I'm sure there's some things that
a lot of those NDEs, bro, like the near death experience ones, which like basically turns into like you said, it goes back to that astral projection and things like that, to where it's crazy, like what happens to you when you get flooded with those death chemicals, essentially.
Yeah.
And then there's certain things to where you come back with so many weird things. Like a lot of them see Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
Which is weird, like an entity similar to Jesus. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they see, and like these people aren't even Christians.
They're not.
It's like you're going back to that flow state of, like I said, consciousness, because like everything is collective consciousness. That's like everybody's consciousness is the same. Like even if you focus on like here's like a weird example, like during the election, right? You go outside, bro, and just drive around, and like you can feel their energy of like anxiety, of uncertainty, like it's weird
because nobody knows what the hell's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but like I said, it's not the common folk that can go out there and focus on that and feel it. It's just there's a certain amount of us that go out there and can feel that type of energy.
It's very strange.
It's very strange, but the back to the whole like your soul and everything. There was a video I came across, and it was called something about Saturn, how Saturn isn't really a planet, and it's just something about the black box, and it's essentially Saturn, the way the planets align and stars and everything. It's where your soul goes after you die.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't get to finish it. I did start it, but it's crazy to even think that there's people that study things like that and near-death experiences, because I've watched videos and I've read things about how Some people will go through that and they'll wake up
Mm-hmm.
and then they only have a certain amount of time before they really pass away. And it's I've seen a couple of videos about it, like on YouTube, about like nurses and stuff that are there.
Yeah.
During.
You talk to ones that are like in hospice and stuff. Like, it's crazy. Like, my grandmother, when she was like close to death, like they say, like you start like the spiritual world and the physical world, they start
mesh.
to mesh, you know. And she would be like, she'd be like, oh, look at those people sitting over there. They're like, they look so peaceful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She would start seeing, she'd start seeing people in the room with her that weren't there and stuff. And like that was like 2 or 3 weeks before she died.
Yeah, they're almost at like a peace almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wonder what shitty people feel.
You know? And that's like that's what they talk about, like when you hang around families that are like super like atheists and just like stuck in like they've never thought of anything spiritual a day in their life, and they experience death like that.
Yeah,
that's where the dark energy really comes in.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's what they don't want you to have like any type of practice, really. They just want it to be like straight raw, and that's what it's creepy.
Yeah,
like what the hell is that?
My mom's mom passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
And my grandmother had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. She didn't want treatment. She said, hey, I've lived a good life. I just want to, so they gave her meds to just make her feel comfortable, but she didn't want it treated. And her last words, my mom and uncle told me, was hallelujah. She said hallelujah, took a breath and said the last of it, and she was gone. Very spiritual.
And like
person.
And like I said, think about somebody who doesn't have like those spiritual practices.
That's what I'm saying.
What do they say?
Like I wonder what people like that feel, like people that get executed.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
It is.
It's kind of sad to think.
Because like spiritual practice to me is like so important, because it's like that's like you're here to train for that moment.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any of these, like if you don't have any type of training, it's just like that's what this physical reality is for, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have any training for that kind of stuff, like you don't just sit here the whole time like not even focusing on that, and because that's like what the dark energy wants you to do, I feel like, so they can take you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, myself personally, and like what I believe in everything, like I said before.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in just like one thing. Like I said, I was baptized Catholic when I was a kid, but I wasn't like, I literally believe in everything.
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like instead of being that person where I idolize something or idolize this or that, like I said, I have conversations with the higher power whenever I need them.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm out here, like saying his name in vain. It's crazy because as a kid, you focus on like, you're always saying like, oh my God, oh this, oh that.
Yeah.
And growing up, you sort of think about like, why the hell do I say that?
Yeah.
Like you those things like that are out of your vocabulary. So I never catch myself saying that, and it's weird that I think about things like that. But
it's because there's some power to that.
Yeah, there is.
It's like it is weird, like blasphemy and stuff like that. Using like putting. But that's like I said, that's the same people that like it's like that guy that goes back to that one we talked about last episode, where he talks about like all those entities that he encounters. It's like all of them have a strong hatred towards God.
Yeah.
That's like the one common ground they all have. Like they're extremely resentful towards a higher power.
Yeah.
And like those type of people are very scary to be around.
That's what I'm saying. And that's another thing to think about. Like, people that have mental illnesses, like very crazy mental illnesses, where did it go wrong? Where where do they ever have a moment of clarity? Ever.
It's interesting.
That's scary to think about.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, when I was a kid, and this lasted from, I would say maybe like from 6 years old till about 12, and then I lost it completely. But I would see people's auras.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And it was like colors?
Yep. I would see behind people, like I would either see black, white, or like a colorful aura behind people.
Well,
you know,
I told you I hung out with this one lady, and she was like so into like meditation, reality shifting, and like almost to the deep end, bro. To where she was like borderline, like I don't even want to put a label on it. You know what I mean? But she was just like a lot different than your average human.
Yeah.
But she said she saw like an aura around me, and it's indigo and green.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was acting like it was a positive thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah, indigo and green, which was interesting.
You're shitty. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Whatever that
it's
means.
shit colors. It's brown.
Right?
but no,
I'm just like, what? She's like, I was like, but yeah, that was the one. And it's so weird how like this like universe like brings these people into your life, because she would talk to me about how one time she would sit there and like she was like channeling one of her friends, and she started essentially what you were talking about, remote viewing her friend through the eyes of them. And she was like, you're sitting on the couch right now, like looking at like that part of your wall. And they were, you know. That's what crazy. I mean? So it's like she was doing remote viewing, but I don't think she's aware of what remote viewing is.
Yeah. She didn't have a label on it.
Yeah.
Did you, were you able to watch? I haven't watched it. Like I said, we're so behind on shit, but did you watch or even glance at the video that I sent you about cannabis and spiritualism?
Yes.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I've seen that one, and that one is the I feel like that one was on my feed too, which is interesting, or something similar to it. And like I said, it goes back to the root of like they're like it goes
like monks and like
but it's like
in like
Hinduism,
the Middle East.
You know what I mean?
Hinduism.
And there's the saying Bhava-nasana Haradiyam, which what that means is let this sacred herb be a blessing to my heart.
Yeah.
So like, but you can use like I feel like you said, we see it every day, bro. Like 90% of people don't link cannabis use to spirituality.
They don't.
Like to me, it gave me a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it made me like figure out what it is. You know.
And what's very different for me now, and like that I miss is being at.
Yeah.
There's nobody like that. It's one of those stores where people are just worried about getting in and out.
Yeah.
And hey, like we talked about before, just coasting through life.
Yeah.
Worried about the next party.
Yeah.
And I feel like the energy is more people that are in tune with themselves. You know, it's a lot of Hispanic people and things like that. People that are into that type of thing. So I miss that vibe.
That's so interesting.
Because you can't. I mean, I'm having interesting conversations over there, but it's more about like, you know, like fucking growing things, growing bud or you know, things like that. Things that are too common. Yeah. And you can be sitting there and you can have somebody walk up to you and be like, hey, I see an energy behind you. Right. And, you know, like got a bunch of people, you know, just randomly walking up to her where they had her in tears because they were like, hey, there's a guy standing behind you and he has this grasp on you and he's not letting you, you know, like advance in life. Yeah. That's scary for two people to walk in there and tell her the same thing. Yeah.
Like, like I said, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but there's some dark energy around that person. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's something when it's like I said, now that they made me aware of it, I try to think about that, and it's like there definitely is some sort of dark aura around that person. Yeah. And I don't know what it is, where it came from, but I don't. And like I said, to me, I don't have the ability to see stuff, nor do I want to. Universe, let me please stay normal. Yeah. But I can feel. You know what I mean? And when she's around,
make sure you bleep me.
Of course. Yeah. I'm gonna do the locations too. And like that energy is just is very strange, man.
Yeah, supposedly. You know, when I was having a conversation with this person, they were telling me that they feel like they know who it might be. And I'm like, well, before this person passed away, did they give you stuff? Do you have a lot of their stuff, belongings? And she's like, yeah, you know, I have a lot of things that they gave me. And I'm like, you should probably look into
burning those,
either burning it or giving it away to somebody else, because, you're a pretty good person.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't.
That's what's interesting
have to deal
about
with
it.
things like
That's
that.
what's interesting about it, because there's like shifts of light in them,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you can see the darkness.
Yeah, that's.
Isn't that interesting?
It really is. It really
know
is.
what I mean? It's
you can feel both. I've been around this person and one-on-one, but you can feel like something is like controlling her a bit and telling her to not be herself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
And it's been, dude, look at my and it's been a couple one-on-ones that we've had at work.
Yeah.
Where you can feel sort of like something like playing her like a puppet.
Exactly, friend.
It's very weird.
You're exactly right, though, dude.
Yeah.
And that's literally the nail on the head, bro.
Yeah.
And it's so strange you say that, because that's the perfect explanation of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's weird, bro. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that.
You can't. But at least we're right here and we know what it is. It's something very scary to talk about, because you're around this person a lot, or a decent amount of time. Yeah. And you don't want to, wake up a sleeper cell or something, say the wrong words, and then, I feel like that's a thing too, where people, you mention certain words and just certain things, and they just, but you can see this person fighting something, and trying to get clarity and trying to get that weight off their shoulders, but it's just not. They're really deep into it.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's very interesting. Like it's got a lot of fear, a lot of panic, a lot of like, there's no sense of calm.
There isn't.
And then that right there is an entity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm too ignorant to know about those kind of things. But like I said, I can feel it, and like you said, you can see it. And it's weird how it comes and goes. Yeah.
It's almost like they're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But ultimately being a puppet.
Yeah.
And it's very weird that I can see.
And
that.
You know what it is? It's probably like and like I said, there's other people there that are kind of like that too, that I don't even know how to like. Yeah, I don't even know how to say it because we're recording ourselves. But yeah, it's interesting though, because you can see it into like, there's people there that have extremely strong suicidal ideologies.
Yes.
And those suicidal ideologies are entities also.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they've gotten these suicidal ideologies from the company that they surround themselves with. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And those people are extremely dark. When they come in, I can see the darkness in their eyes.
Yeah.
They have like shark eyes.
And it flows freely. It's
and when you link up with people like that, and you have relationships with people like that, dude, it makes you become that the whole intercourse, that is a sacred exchange.
It is.
It's a ritual. You know what I mean? And like and that's when entities jump in you when you're mined out like that. You know what I mean?
People don't understand that. Like when you get to that level and you see things like that. Yeah. In that sense. Yeah. That's when you're open to a lot of things, man. But at the same time, it's always going to go back to this. People are always in their own shit. They view things however they want to view things. Exactly. And one-track mind, worried about what they're going to do next, the next party, the next this, the next that. So a lot of people aren't self-aware when it comes to things like this. And whenever you do have that, because a lot of people don't have that. It doesn't have to be at a young age, but it can be later on in life. Yeah. But when people do have that spiritual awakening, it's fucking scary.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know? Yeah. Because you can notice and you can feel things, but
and it makes you not want to be around people a lot. You know what I mean? Because you can, you know, like there's nothing you can really do with them that's not going to end in darkness. Really. Yeah.
I'm very good at I mean, obviously when I'm at work, be it whatever you believe in or whatever it is, like you got, like I'm very good at having a shield up. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So I mean, I let things stress me out if it's work related, but it's more trying to keep my team happy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a form, but as far as letting people in and their energies get to me while I'm there, it's hard to get through.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people, like the dude that came in that was doing the remote viewing, he's like, I can't read you. You know, and he's one person that I definitely believe when it comes to things like that. You know,
Yeah, he's done a lot of practice.
Exactly, and he's looked at me and he's like, I can't read you, but he's like, there's nothing bad. He's like, you have very, very, very good energy.
Yeah,
you know, and like I said, man, I fucking held his hand, and it's electrifying.
Yeah.
You know, the energy.
I wish he would have read me. I wonder what he would have said to me.
Yeah, you know,
he never really specified. He hasn't hit me up yet, but
Has he been in lately?
No, I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, I saw his name on a bag, but I wasn't there when he came and picked it up.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, the last time I saw him was the day that he was talking to me and Dez when I was like, Dez, you need to fist bump him and just like hold it there. Dez is like, damn, dude. I was like, yeah, I'm not bullshitting. Like his energy was off the charts.
Yeah,
you know, so
very interesting.
It's crazy the type of people that walk in there. I definitely miss the vibe there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
It's very weird being in a place where it's just like, hey, how you doing? In and out. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I definitely miss about being
at that particular location.
Yeah, and the energy in the store is just it's hard to describe.
Yeah.
You know, but it's crazy that we're walking around feeling shit like this, and everybody else is just like, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, so it's cool. It's cool to meet people that are you know, like-minded.
Yeah.
You know, even though we all believe in whatever we believe in.
No, exactly.
So, you know. But yeah, Atomic Midnight.
That's it.
We'll see you guys on the next one for sure.
Peace.